Okay, I'm back. This is part two. Really, I wasn't really going to do a part two, but this is part two of my top 10 underrated wrestlers of all time as requested by Jeff Hardy Next WWE, a second request video he asked for me. Now the number 6 I was talking about Owen Hart. Now moving over to number 5, I was gonna put Chris Benoit as is one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time, but really everyone already knows that. So I'm gonna put another wrestler that many people don't really talk about that much, and that's Yokozuna. Now I put him on my top 10 list of the worst WWE champions of all time, mainly because of how the WWE booked him. But really, he was a very underrated wrestler in my opinion. He was very agile for a big guy his size. He can move, like he can move, he can move sort of like how most cruiserweights sort of can move. But for a guy his size, it was pretty impressive for a guy his size to move that way and move so frequently without having to ever leave his feet. But really, he was a good big man, can put on good matches when he was in there with the right people, or when he at least tried. And really, another wrestler that many people tend to not talk about, although they did really talk about him in the greatest superstars of the 90s. Really, he didn't really get talked about enough in that DVD. And that's one of the reasons why I have him on here, as he is one of those superstars that really doesn't get talked about enough. He's one of the superstars that really don't get talked about enough, and that's why I feel he's very underrated, as he was a big guy who can move pretty frequently like a small guy or a cruiserweight, can put on good matches, tried his best in the ring, had very good feuds, and he was okay on the mic. And really, one of the reasons why I got him on here is he was just one of those guys that just could move, and I feel he was just very underutilized, mainly because of the fact that he didn't want to lose weight. But really, you can blame the bookers for not booking him the right way, and that's one of the reasons why I feel he's very underrated, simply on how he was booked, and many people don't really talk about him that much, or they just don't remember him at all. Moving over to number 4, I got Razor Ramon Scott Hall. This guy was a very good worker, can put on good matches. Many people say that Shawn Michaels was the one that carried that ladder match when they had their ladder match, but really it was Razor Ramon or Scott Hall who carried that ladder match as well. He put his weight in that matchup as well, his 2 cents in that matchup as well, or carried the load in that matchup as well. So really it was both guys in that matchup, not just one guy. Very good worker, can cut good promos, the crowd loved him, they were into his matches, and really he should have got at least a WWE title run, but that never really happened, as WWE's plans for him really wasn't to be WWE champion. It was just to be Intercontinental champion and just kind of float in the mid-card. And really a guy who should have got a bigger push than what he got in WWE. Instead of, after he had that match with Shawn Michaels and other big names, he should have been elevated to main event status. But really, that never was the case, as guys like Diesel ended up getting main event pushes. Guys who really weren't that good in the ring to begin with got main event pushes over this guy, and that's one of the reasons why I got him on this list. Is I just feel he was very underrated and very underutilized in the WWE. Number 3 goes to Mr. Perfect, another wrestler I tend to talk about a lot. Really, I'm only going to say a little bit about him. This guy was very good in the ring. He was very athletic, can cut good promos, was a very good heel, was a very good face, can put on just about a good match with just about anybody. If it wasn't with Bret Hart, even though he carried his weight in the Bret Hart matches as well. Well, both of them did. If, like I said, if he wasn't having a good match with Bret Hart, he was having a good match with just about anybody. He did his best to get a good match out of just about anybody he got in the ring with, whether it was Lex Luger, whether it was Doink the Clown of all people, or anybody else. He just did everything he could to get a good match out of anybody, and his promos were pretty good, and those skits of him shooting hoops in the basketball and throwing the ball to himself was just phenomenal. And I just don't know why this guy never really got a title run. There was rumors that he was supposed to win the 1990 Royal Rumble, and he was going to have a match with Hulk Hogan, but Hulk Hogan really skip those plans. If that was true, they said that Hulk Hogan kind of scrapped those plans, but if that was true, it kind of sucks because this guy deserved a title run, or he deserved to get a shot at the title, or like I said, well, he did get a title shot against Hulk Hogan, but he deserves so much more in the WWE, and I feel that's one of the reasons why he's underrated. Is he just never really was underutilized, mainly to the fact that WWE was pushing other stars besides him, pushing other stars over him, and then the fact that he was just injured and his body was kind of breaking down by this point. So really, I just feel this guy was underrated, and he really should be, and really he's a guy that many people tend to not really talk about that much, as they tend to talk about Bret Hart and other guys of that nature, but I feel this guy should be talked about more, and that's one of the reasons why I feel he's very underrated. Number 2, I got Bam Bam Bigelow, another guy who can move pretty good for his size. He was he was probably one of the best big man wrestlers ever. Well, he's on that list with Vader and Yokozuna. Vader's another one that's on that should be on this list, but these are guys I wrote, in my opinion, that are underrated. Really, Bam Bam Bigelow was one of those guys that should have got a bigger push than what he got. He put up with some of the crap the WWE threw at him, even jobbed to Lawrence Taylor and went through that storyline with Lawrence Taylor, only to be thrown in the mid-card and not pushed or utilized the way he should have been. And that's one of the reasons why I feel he's on this list, as he was very underrated, didn't get a bigger push than what he got. Even his first run, he should have got a bigger push during his first run, but that never happened. And then the fact that WWE just focused on Hulk Hogan and other stars rather than guys like him, guys who can put on really good matches and get the crowd hyped and other stuff like that. And he was also good at cutting promos as well, and that's one of the reasons why I got him at number 2, mainly to the fact that he was very good for his size, can cut good promos, very hard worker, and could put on a good match with just about anybody he got in the ring with, a 2-star matchup. And that's one of the reasons why I got him on this list. And then finally at number 1, I got Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Man. Another guy who was very underrated and not used the right way, like didn't get a bigger push like he should have got, because really this guy was in the mid card. He was feuding with guys he shouldn't have had. He had no business feuding with. He was putting guys over. He worked with guys backstage. He had his gimmick with the $1 Million Man where he was cocky and arrogant and tried to buy the WWE and the WWE title. And really, this was probably one of the greatest heels of all time, and a guy who should have at least got a run with the WWE title. But that wasn't the case, that wasn't the case, as guys like Hulk Hogan and other guys of that nature were getting the title, and $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase sort of got pushed to the side and really wasn't the main focus. And that's one of the reasons why I got him on this list at number 1. I got him at number 1 as he was very good. He was a very good wrestler, hard worker, can cut very good promos, can get heel heat based off his character. Loved working with people, loved putting people over, like I said, and just a guy who should have got a bigger push and a better push than what he got, and should have at least got a WWE title run during that. Yeah, should have at least got a WWE title run during his stay in the WWE, but that wasn't the case. Like I said, as he got pushed to the side, and he wasn't the main focus for the WWE. But anyhow, this is my top 10 list of the most underrated wrestlers of all time, in my opinion. Just giving you a top 10 list of the most underrated wrestlers of all time, present and now. Like I said, just a video request from Jeff Hardy, #NextWwesman. Hope you like my video. You can rate, you can comment, you can give me a video response. And for some of you who are just casual viewers, feel free to subscribe, because I got a lot of good videos on the way. Q&A with Fitness 65 is tomorrow. Like I said, send your questions today, because like I said, the deadline is today. So send your 3 questions. For the ones who didn't send questions, send them today, and I'll be sure to answer them in the Q&A, which is tomorrow, and I'll be sure to mention your name. Anyhow, thank you for watching my video. Rate, comment, and I hope to see you tomorrow with Q&A. And like I said, send me your questions because the deadline is today. Peace.